Welcome back, everyone. June is Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month, a time to raise awareness about a disease affecting millions of Americans and their families.
While recognizing the signs of Alzheimer's is important, experts say some of the most meaningful conversations happen before a diagnosis or a crisis. So today we are joined by Joyce Mahoney with Belmont Village Senior Living to talk about some of the questions that families may not even think to ask. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
So let's start with, what do you think the biggest misconception families have about caring for someone with Alzheimer's or another form of dementia?
Well, a misconception is, they should have all the answers, step right in, and make everything better. With the diagnosis of a cognitive impairment, there's a lot of questions that go along with that. And from a family member, it becomes very emotionally based. And so some of the questions that they should start asking is what they don't ask. At the beginning, they start looking for the diagnoses, what is happening with my loved one. But, what are we not asking? That's the big question. So once we do get the diagnoses of a cognitive impairment, families are just kind of at a standstill in how to handle the situation at large. What do I do with my loved one? And they just want to make it better and they want to make their loved one happy. But it can be challenging when faced with this situation.
Because it impacts just so many people. It seems like we know somebody who knows
Yes.
somebody, or we are ourselves dealing with somebody who has this. But what are we not asking? You said there are things that you should ask, but we're just not. What are the questions that we need to be asking?
One of the big questions, in my opinion, is when you get this diagnosis, you right away go into that tunnel of everything that's going wrong, okay? The abilities of an individual that are lost. So, one of the questions I suggest is asking, what are the abilities of the individual that still remain? And you want to focus on those things. The other question is, with the cognitive impairment, sometimes communication becomes a little impaired. So, how do I communicate with my loved one, with my family member? What does that even look like? In many situations, a person can also exhibit some or demonstrate a range of different behaviors, whether positive or negative behaviors, but changes in behaviors. So, when we're talking about behaviors, we're trying to decipher what the behavior means. So, asking that question, what is the behavior? When is it happening? What are you trying to tell me? So, again, the behaviors and communication are overlapped. Another question too is, how can we maintain dignity, meaning in a person's life, the quality of life, those types of things. And again, I'm going to circle back because a lot of the focus has a tendency to be on the illness itself and what can go wrong. But again, focus on the positive. So families have the tendency to kind of miss that end of it. And so we need to look at these diagnoses and reframe the situation a little bit and take a look at the individual themselves, the quality of life, and what we can do to make each day the best it possibly can be. So, again, behaviors, communication, dignity, quality of life, and what is the person needing in the moment, whether it's for the day, the week, or even just within that very minute.
Tell us why those conversations are so critical early on. I mean, the difference in what you've seen of families who are asking those questions from the jump, and then those who are maybe unfortunately figuring out later on what they should have been asking.
Yeah, we need to start asking these real early because it allows the families or the responsible parties to prepare for the future. And, asking these questions so they can be prepared for what is to come. And again, a lot of times we are off guard a little bit of the changes during the cognitive impairment as the disease may progress. We want to be prepared to the best of our ability and to be there for that individual. So, if we can kind of have a little script for ourselves and be better prepared, not just physically, but even from an emotional standpoint as well, to make sure that we're on point and we're there for the individual. But the preparation is key, first and foremost, so they have a better understanding of what's in store and what to expect down the road.
All great advice. Thank you so much, Joyce Mahoney with Belmont Village Senior Living, to talk to us about an important conversation to be having.
Thank you so much.